minutes or,
Yeah, but I know the package right here. You can turn it around because everyone's facing. Alright, welcome everyone. This is June meeting for Education and Libraries Committee. I'm gonna call for another time at 7:28. And first order of business is to approve the March minutes. I'm not sure the plan right now, but regardless, this can be a pretty marvelous job of all the events that everyone had. We'd love to touch on that and just go through a quick overview of just the events that have happened and the events that we're all proud of that we want to continue and make bigger fixtures of this community and board. Do you have any events that we thought were? Do you have any events that thought were the most successful for the year so far?
the ones that we as a committee worked on, which were the town hall was a big hit for the year. I'm glad our veterans were in it and gave it the all and enjoyed it and excited about the next one again again. Um, that like I think I heard the twin was explaining that that should be something we do on an annual basis. So hopefully with the relationships that we're starting to to grow with other organizations like Metro Evers, and Applebee's and Raising Kings, that it'll continue to grow. And someone also had a great idea about us continuing to have it maybe in the month of April, meaning that it's Autism Awareness month. That was they appreciated that extra that extra that we did. So I agree with that. So that suggestion.
Yeah, and just seeing, like I mentioned before, the momentum that both major events have, the town hall and the career fair, just establishing notable events for the committee. I feel as if a lot of the other board members and other committees don't necessarily, they don't put respect on what we do, to be very honest. And I think if we establish those key and marquee events that they know, okay, youth of education, they have to do every year no matter what. And it's always at this time. And I think those two events could definitely be our thing, just seeing how much they progressed since last year and this year. And then, of course, maybe the ones that have less pool, like the community cleanup, we can work on building those up as well.
Is that something that education and library committee should be doing? A community cleanup?
I mean, what it does, the original plan I think was to just get them, because sometimes the kids get out of school, they throw their trash everywhere, so that not teaching them just to respect the environment, right? Mm-hmm. And then who's gonna have more energy to wake up on a Saturday and go around and clean up? Probably. So it's also, but I do agree, maybe environmental. I'm sorry if I'm getting wrong. They should also, help us and ensure, and Parks and Rec. Sorry, I think that's a perfect collaboration opportunity that we're missing out on. And I think that a lot of the other committees and us were missing out on collaboration opportunities because there's no reason to spend an hour on housing in those meetings. It's ridiculous.
I think that's that. I think
I don't really like that. I don't really like that.
That's a very good point about like overlapping with committees on certain events and certain ideas. Very good idea.
It is a very good idea, and I would like to jump on what you're saying, is that we should tell committees to bring your children, right? We should go to schools and, get in touch with the principals to let them know this is what we're doing, so more children can engage and get involved. And because we don't branch out.
Yeah,
and that's the problem, and this is why we have this youth committee, right? Okay.
I think one of the issues with that could be addressed is the interest. So what we've had 2 town halls that I oversaw, and reaching out to the other committees to participate. I feel I'm hearing the same reasons why that there's no not interest, but like hesitation more and everything because they either don't know about it, they didn't know that we're doing this. I'm still, even though the job fair was something that was being done before me, but yet when I started actually communicating with other committee members, it was new news to their ears. Why is that? Is my question, like why that question isn't being answered. So I think repeat conversations, um, reliable information being shared amongst the committees, that that's a factor into why other committee members are not being informed of what this committee is doing.
And we should also, I'm sorry, say on top
I can
of,
follow that.
like for instance, I gave you information on workforce. I actually gave you
Yeah,
the manager, the person to speak to that would, like a coordinator that would handle that. And nobody utilized her.
and why is that?
So, it's okay, that happened, we're
That does
gonna
not get-
clean it up. This time we're gonna utilize them, because these young people, they need jobs.
Yeah.
Cause
They
I
need jobs.
appreciate when somebody in this community board would say to me, thank you for reaching out, thank you for sharing that information, thank you for doing this. And it's unfortunate that I feel like there are members outside of my committee that says it more, but I still appreciate to hear that, okay, this is warranted, this is, people are interested to see this happen. And I just think there's room for collaborations with other committee members. I'm never gonna argue against that. It's just a matter of folks being interested to have a conversation to collect.
And two, I mean, we gotta be honest, like you said, we gotta clean it up, right? So, I made the draft for housing, but also too, it's like, I gotta be honest with myself, how many other committee meetings have I attended throughout the year to make sure my face is visible and all this? Because, I mean, people are gonna support who they're comfortable with at the end of the day. They're gonna wake up early Saturday, but oh crap, which means that I gotta come to this, I'm gonna go, I don't want to, I'm gonna go, right? Because, she's always before meetings, so I think that's another thing probably we just need to be honest with ourselves and let's support other committees, and I think that will come in return, for sure, so.
Yeah. I mean, I think there definitely needs to be better communication across committees, like between committees, not just within them, because within them it might be fine, right? Like it might be okay within a committee, everyone has a group and they all talk and share information. But a lot of times, information about events goes to the board office, and then it needs to go back out of the board office to a different committee, and that's not going to be quick a lot of the time because it needs like minutes to be done. It might need other things to kind of be in place, like a flyer to be created. I don't know how often people get like a plain text email about a new event. It's usually when the event's ready to go and almost happening that they send things out,
Yeah.
and that those it kind of like it leaves a lot of room for improvement when it comes to like other committees doing about things. So that's something to solve, right?
So the solving, I think, would be good if the chairs, vice chairs, or whoever, comes to the executive board meeting, so we can bring attention to this, right? The executive board meeting helps a lot.
But that's kind of what it's for, right?
Yes.
To like see what
That's
committee
right.
reports look like and then build the agenda
That's
for the
right.
next meeting. So that's almost a part of it, right? But then if chairs go to that, right, what happens is you now expect them to tell their committees about things. And that doesn't always happen either. Sometimes the EP chair might go in that introduction, and we know they know about what's happening because they came to the regular committee meeting. But we now have to, I guess, trust that they're gonna tell
Trickle down.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's another like level that we can't control. We can't make them tell other people, right? So I think a lot of it just comes down to like involving other committees in the planning process. Like if let's say you guys decide to host a town hall, I feel like the whole board should know about that before it's ready. Like they should know they're planning this stuff, And I think everybody would feel more involved, right? And
I didn't sign
generally,
yet. I didn't sign yet.
oh, you didn't sign in? You probably should. Oh yeah, please. The pen is in here, the pen. Let me get some form. If I could move the rest of them in. But yeah, I think the rest of the board should be aware of things when they're being made, not just in that time between when they're ready and when they're happening. So,
I have to go put my mom to bed, that's all.
I'll pick those ones.
Yeah, she's fine. I feel bad that you say that, you know, get enough respect. On the public safety committee, we all have the same issue. I wonder if it's because there's a lot of people on the board who don't have kids, so they just don't appreciate it, or they, you know, my kids are all, my baby's 28, so they're all out of that, so it's not that I don't want youth today to have the benefits of what's out there for them, but it's not as compelling to me as some other committees, you know, so,
Yeah, and I understand that for sure, especially, but then when I see maybe some educators who probably don't or former educators or people who complain that the kids have nowhere to go, then it's like, come over
Wonder
here.
why.
Yeah, you know, so, yeah, so we gotta.
you're right,
Kids
there's resources to try to create resources. Okay.
All right, yeah, that's
See you on Thursday.
Alright, so, I heard an interesting point about sort of growing relationships with brands and other stakeholders. I heard about, you know, raising games on people like that. I'm curious how folks did that and how like other committees and other parts of the board can benefit from knowing that same thing.
Well, it depends on who you're talking to. I know for me, one, because this is what I do, I know how to communicate. Reaching out to outside vendors there's an interest for the community, for the youth. This is the flyer, are you interested? They either yes or no. And it's that simple. Sometimes they give a yes, sometimes they give a no, or maybe next time. But either way, it's us having the event scheduled, you know, and to make it prepared to introduce to outside vendors to get interest. So when I got work from Applebee's, it was just a matter of me communicating by email. I'm online all the time, as those that work with me know. I'm online all the time. So researching, finding out contact information. I collect that information and then use it when the time is necessary. When I do, I always do it in a timely fashion because a lot of these vendors can't collab with us when the event is 2 weeks away. You know,
You said veterans?
vendors.
Vendors.
When we're doing last minute planning, it doesn't work. It never works out the way we should have it. You know, it should work out when we're last minute planning. So the interest that we get is because I stayed on the schedule ahead of time to be able to keep their interest in events. So and hopefully that grows going forward, knowing that they know what we do and we're appreciating the help that they'll continue to help, you know, and give and some, and that'll encourage others to like Chase Bank. So for me,
There was
I think it's a teaching thing.
I never got your thoughts or you can have any. So I didn't get your thoughts on the last year. I wanted to give you a chance to sort of talk about this. Anything regarding the events or like what you were able to do over the last year that you want to like carry into next year and stuff like that.
Can you come back to me, please?
Sure.
Yeah, I
No problem.
I actually have a question, like gathering my thoughts.
You can do it.
Yeah, my question is about the vendors. Like, what do they typically get? Is it money? Is it like Applebee's? Like, oh, we'll provide food for the event. Like, what does that entail?
Depends on the vendor. Applebee's, they donated a $100 gift voucher for two. Raising Cane's contributed 100 kids combo cards. Who else we got?
And was this like raffled out?
No, it was, well, yeah, we did raffle out the Applebee's card and Home Chef. They also donated $100 voucher. So it depends on the vendor. What I did was I personally targeted our neighborhood vendors, but like for chains, Applebee's and so on.
How far you live? You wanna
The
ride back
popular
home?
ones, the ones that actually
You wanna ride back home?
you know,
Sorry.
services are.
Excuse me, guys, we're
It's
in
like-
a
it's like
meeting
we're
right
in the
now,
middle of
thank
it.
you, sorry.
Thank you for that.
Like company businesses that actually serve the community, those are the vendors I targeted. So, yeah. But again, the time you reach out to them matters, so, and it does.
And consistency.
Consistency.
And also, where do you reach out to? Just, I guess, for the point of advice for other communities.
Depends on the vendor. I mean, some of the stuff is my personal connections, networking, but others I just sit down and research. Or get a referral from somebody or information like that just came to me because I can be comfortable with that. So, yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
There's some that have like a community focused kind of,
Yeah,
you know, like,
but here's the thing with me, I offer help, and if the help isn't being received, then, I mean, when I have the information, I'm not gonna shove it down your throat.
Okay. So yeah, now I want to talk for a second about intercommittee, efforts and events and that kind of thing, because that is, I think, something that we've always wanted to do as a board, but never actually like pulled off, except for combined committees. So I think a big part of this is figuring out what people are willing to do. Because, for example, one easy way to do this is say, okay, well, let's meet extra and have like extra joint meetings in between our regular ones. Folks might not be up for that. It depends, you know? Or it could maybe be like we have certain committees meet together at certain points when they decide to. Or maybe like a committee might make a joint request for another committee's next meeting to be like combined with theirs, for that one time. I think figuring out how that happens is what we need to do before we actually can pull it off. Because we've been wanting to and we haven't been able to do it for a while.
Well, use Suckerfest as an example. Use Suckerfest as an example. That was a collab.
Talk us through.
That was your youth education and library and Parks and Rec. And Ansley was part of youth education, but she's also an AYSO employee. So that was that connection, and it being an outdoor event, why not get Parks and Rec involved?
Okay.
And so she had a conversation with Nicholas on how to get Parks and Rec involved, and he did by helping with submitting the permit for it. I mean, we did the lab work and everything got big, but still Parks and Rec did help, make that happen. That was a collab.
I think that should be highlighted then, because then if people can see just how simple, not simple, but like how, if someone who has access to permits can help us, I think that should be highlighted.
The permit was submitted from Parks and Rec, even though Ansley is on youth and education,
But
it was a collab.
Right.
even for the career fair though.
I just wanted to add something to what you guys were saying about Suckerfest. So the way Ainsley ended up connecting with Nicholas is we both went to the Parks and Recreation Committee and we just presented, hey, this is the idea that came out of the Youth and Education Committee, and we thought it would be a really good collaboration since it's like parks, it's youth, this all makes sense. So that's how, and Ainsley had AYSO, I think that's how you pronounce it, that she had them also like share some slides at the committee. So like inform Nicholas about like this is what we're doing, this is what we're interested in doing, and how they can fit in.
So you're saying there was an element of like people going to it?
Yeah, we actually went to the Parks and Recreation Committee and talked to them about it.
Right, and that's kind of what I'm thinking about, because if we get an email, it's
Yeah,
like, here, we're doing this, they might take
No,
it
it wasn't
seriously.
me, it was a conversation, and it's in the minutes, and Parks and Rec submitted the permit.
Yeah.
Again, it was a joint.
Even if it's just like something as having, say, like career fair, right? Having people from different committees come in who are in different fields, just come in and speak. They help out with the resumes. I think we've talked about that like to nauseam. Having people come in and help out with resumes and volunteer their time. I think that can even count as like some kind of collaboration with other. There's so many ways I think cross collaboration can happen.
just sitting here thinking about like a cross collaboration, maybe like the business affairs, I think it's the business affairs committee. Maybe, economic development, sorry. Maybe pulling in the small business owners and seeing if they would want to recruit some of our youth to work in their small businesses in the neighborhood. Because really we focus on you know, like the usual, like citywide nonprofits, the agencies, the big box stores, those things like that, but we didn't really target the smaller businesses, and there's like an opportunity to do that.
I can hop in as internships too if they don't have necessarily the budget to pay. There's so many other ways that they can get their return back somehow.
I should say we did reach out to like Prospect Park, those folks, like the cultural centers that are nearby, so we did reach out to them.
Okay, so maybe like maybe before we talk about the joint meeting, maybe having presentations in the committees is a way to start doing it. Maybe one or two can go, right, to a different committee's meeting, present it, and kind of like light that spark for a collaboration. Because I think when people think about collaborative meetings, they kind of think of like two entire committees meeting up together, and that might not always be necessary. You can probably get similar results with less of that. Just having one or two people tap in and
I think it should be, I think it should be encouraged. Like, you know, I think Felice does an amazing job of making sure she's visible in other committees. So just even just showing up to meetings and saying, hey, I'm from Youth and Services, this is what we got going on. I just need 5 minutes of your time to just talk about what our year looks like. Boom, that's it. So at least when you see me at the big general meeting, you know, okay, this is, you have those ideas. I think it's something that should really be encouraged for all
this is another.
committees.
And you mentioned the big general meeting. Like I've also been a big proponent of giving committees or committee chairs at least time to give a committee report in like the early part of the meetings, because I think like most people don't even know these committees exist.
Exactly.
So it's good for someone who's coming in as a guest for like half an hour to be able to hear from them. Because public session is where we give out like information that's relevant to the public. I think most committee work is relevant to the public. People should be able to come to a board meeting, hear what's happening in their area, in their community, right? And I think it's even useful for other committees, because if all we're doing is hearing acknowledgements on electives and then voting on voting items, I feel there's a lot that's not.
People are ready to go home.
Yeah.
Like they don't.
Right, and that those two things usually take like an hour.
Yeah.
Right, like there's a lot that should be known that is not.
So we can use the September board meeting, which, you know, like there's not too much going on because it's September, and use that to be like, hey, this is everything that we have planned for the year. We would love to have your participation, and you know.
Yeah, I think like a 2-minute committee report for every committee that attends is a really valuable use of that time in the beginning of a board meeting. That's my thought. But that, and I think beginning, sticking out to an order by presenting maybe one or two people in other committees could be a good start. You know. So you think that what are the thoughts on that?
I think it's a good idea.
I think it's necessary.
Yeah, it may not necessarily need to be at every single board
Yeah.
meeting,
totally.
because sometimes like, you know, big topics like a homeless shelter or whatever, that takes up a lot of time, but definitely like in September for sure. That should be a thing, like just on the committee.
And I know it's kind of petty, but the flyers and stuff in the front in that random corner, like, can we change that? Because people are like, the flyer was in the front, nobody's going up there. People don't even know there's water up there half the time. So it's like, I know, but that makes a difference. And I'm walking out, I can see people's different flyers. I can see, you know, council members doing this. Those little things make a big difference on how people are informed. Because the sign-in sheet for members is on one side, and then nobody's going up there to pick the things up. It's just not happening.
So, what are you thinking? Maybe in the front before we get to the doors?
That
little
or
kind of
even
foyer area?
Yeah, even a table right there. As people are walking out.
Because I've seen other friends do that. Like I've seen 7-7 when they're having it in the school. They
It's
like
at the back
put
of
a
the
big table and they have flyers there.
Because I remember at one time, even for water, Dante was like, the water is right there all the time. I'm like, nobody knows that.
Right. And I think there's always that kind of a battle between like people looking at things and seeing what to do.
Yeah.
Versus just designing to accommodate what they will, what you know they're gonna do anyway.
Maybe surprised.
You know, like we know they're not gonna go up there with flyers. So why do we put them there?
Yeah.
Right? We could say look and go where you see the flyers, but it's also extra effort on everyone's part.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we just put them where everyone's gonna go.
Yeah.
So yeah, all that makes sense. So we're good for any other thoughts. It's open right now. You can go ahead.
Yeah.
Feel free.
Yeah.
That counts.
Okay. No. Yeah. You said somebody else wanted to.
No, I'm saying anyone who wants to go right now, the floor's open. I'm opening it. So anybody wants to say something.
Okay. Back to something. I know I came in late. Back to talking about personal experiences and stuff like that. I'm noticing. This is the March minutes
Yes.
because we didn't approve the February minutes. The
Yeah.
February, January minutes. Yeah, because they were incorrect.
Well, if they were approved, they'd be online, and I'm gonna check real quick to just make sure that they are or
But
aren't.
there were 2 months of minutes that we didn't approve and we never got around to
So
fixing it because of the issues that we're experiencing.
okay. Well, we can't vote from now either.
No, but I just want to put that out, note that,
Okay.
because it's stuff like that that keeps being overlooked, and it keeps growing,
Yeah.
and we didn't have a meeting in April.
Okay.
But I want to read something, so that I'm not rambling all over the place, and I don't want to get emotional. But I just want to address this. I want to address the obvious that haven't been said for the duration of my time volunteering. Hi, do you need something? Do you want somebody?
No.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
Volunteering during the time of me volunteering in the community board. So for the past 2 years volunteering my time in this community board, I have experienced being terrorized by unhappy community board members who have created hostile and toxic work environments for me and fellow committee members. All of the incidents I've endured was headed by our former chair of this committee, from falsifying meeting minutes, which included statements not said by me, to purposely bringing house pets to committee meetings, knowing my son is allergic to animals. I'm not getting emotional. Don't. The former chair of this committee has been horrible to work with in every way possible for me. Her and her fellow committee members who participated have been attacking my character, my experience since March of 2025, after resigning from working for her company. I could not take the abuse any longer from her. When I first started attending community meetings, I was overly misinformed to believe this committee was owned and operated by one person alone. So recruits people from this committee to work for her company to only end up mistreating them when she doesn't get what she wants out of them. I was one of those people. There was so much deceitful and unhealthy information from her that led to people quitting the committee. I witnessed all of this. I've watched how destructive she has made the environment in this committee, and I chose not to quit as many others have before me. I am very disappointed at how issues and incidents were addressed and disregarded. What I've experienced should have been taken seriously from the jump. Soul and company have made it very difficult for me to do my best for this community. At times I felt alone, at times I felt discouraged, at times I felt like I wasn't enough to make a difference. The only light shining in those dark moments was the support from my fellow committee members. But that was because we were all here for the right reasons, our community. Not for our businesses or thirst for attention, our community. Those supportive moments meant so much to me and my family, more than you all will ever know. To experience how we have come together and still work on our projects, regardless of the toxicity we were experiencing, is why I continued on. I want to thank each and every member for your talks, for your texts, for your prayers, for your messages, for your presence, for your unwavering support. You will never know how deeply it mattered to me. But right now, I just want you to know I appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You okay?
You want some water? I don't see Tiffany. You want some
Yeah, it
water?
might work.
Really, can I share some water with you?
This is why I wrote this. Because of the previous meetings we've had, I have not had the opportunity to do so. Or express my genuine feelings on everything we've been experiencing. So I did not want this year to end without my voice being heard. You know, with everything that has been said and done to me, been said about me, I always kept it cute and professional and put my community first, regardless what was being said and done to me. So I wanted everyone between Felice, Ethan, and others that's online, the individual conversations that we had helped me tremendously. Pam, oh gosh, Pam, tremendously. There have been times where I just wanted to crash out and not care. And I'm being reminded of how valuable I am and how necessary my work is. Those moments matter because that's what we're here to do, is to do these things for our community. So when I have to deal face with people that can't respect that in me for their own personal reasons, it's very hard. It's so personally hard for me to keep it cute because I would not outside of this environment. I wouldn't, but I know my work is necessary. I know it's needed, and I remain quiet for a long time.
I'm glad you were able to get that out. This is my first time here. So I have no idea what is going on or exactly what happened, but I think
Because
everyone
we have
has
to keep-
a voice, and I'm glad that you are in an environment where your voice can be heard. Thank you guys for having me. Like I said, it's my first time. I was late and I apologize. I also have children who play youth soccer, so their practice ran late. I'm sorry about my tardiness, but I'm still happy to be here.
We put on great events all the time. All the time. Everybody here is great.
Good.
That's true. And yeah, I'm happy to have a space for anyone and talk about our experience. Right? I don't want anyone's experience to sort of feel they have to stifle what they experience because that's part of how we improve. And I do want to talk for a second about maybe improvements to this community and how we sort of envision it being better in terms of either more productive or more, more favorable towards people being able to really get these ideas out in a, healthy environment and this kind of thing. I want to really just get a few thoughts about how we can improve the committee from those who've been here the whole time and those who haven't, but yeah.
I think I mentioned this before, grievance committees.
Okay.
That's something to consider.
So actually, like I had no one knows this, but like last year I had launched the intake form for community board night, where people can put forward like feedback on everything from individual committees to like board operations entirely and otherwise. And it hits the board office as like a form, as an honest, but you get like detailed feedback in whatever area it's in. And people can use that if you have like if you want to give like structural feedback.
Is that shared with everyone?
It's on the board website, yeah.
Okay.
I just did it quietly, like the board office just put it up.
Got it.
I didn't advertise it. The board office will tell people to use it, but
Okay.
I wasn't out there parading it around. But it's a thing. It helps people get like grievances out.
The reason why I mentioned the grievance committee, because I think because, we already have an executive board meeting where all of the, chairs meet, but a grievance committee should consist of one person out of every committee besides the executive board to discuss any issues. It don't have to be a monthly meeting, but if there's an issue so grand that it needs to be addressed the right way,
Mhm.
that there's a committee that exists to address it. And it comes to the executive board if it needs to, but it's known, people get to voice their concerns, and it's not a one-sided thing because I'm a chair, my word is final type of situation.
Mhm.
It's everyone gets a chance to speak, and it gets addressed, and it's left there.
I mean, that sounds like not a bad idea actually. I think it might, yeah, that's not a bad idea at all. I mean, I'm thinking about potentially ways I could function, like, does something, like, I'm assuming they wouldn't regularly meet, maybe it would be like a sort of a trigger that causes them to, like, meet for a reason. If an issue arises, because nobody would wanna like meet every month
You
or something
shouldn't
like
have
that.
to, you shouldn't have to have any problem.
Exactly.
But if something like what we've experienced, what I've experienced, this year, like that, I felt a grievance committee would have been so helpful.
Yeah, kind of like an arbitration kind of thing, where people
Yes,
like
yeah.
sort of figure those things out. Yeah, that makes sense.
We call it mediation.
Mediation,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
HR
another
for
one
the
I'm trying to
community
find.
board.
Thanks.
But what would the consequences of misconduct be?
I mean, so
That's what a grievance committee.
I mean, typically
Can you get kicked off of the community board or removed from a committee?
the board can, the chair can remove from a committee. The chair of the board can remove from a committee.
Okay.
And I mean, removal off the board is usually either for cause like to stop somebody, like terrible things can cause someone to be kicked off the board.
But the less obvious, what would happen?
Yeah, those are probably. I mean, there's always lighter things like reassigned to a different committee that doesn't wrestle against you that much. There's other things like that to sort of just like create distance. But those are the main ways: reassignment, remove off the committee, off the board, that kind of thing. Or I mean, yeah, we don't really. Some bodies like remove people off of all of their committees, so they just send them and don't have any committees at all. That's a punishment. But I think this board prefers to have people on committees in general, because we're only 50 and like we want to make sure that committees are stacked and operating. But that could be an option, like have a floating person because they didn't, work well with folks and they're now off the committee. That's an option too.
Right.
That's like the most usual option in like deliberative bodies. Just lose a committee.
Well, before you came aboard, we had someone removed because it was a little egregious in the things that he was saying and doing, that we had him removed.
Mm.
Okay, because you do not threaten another board member.
Yeah.
Okay, and just the gesture alone, we got him removed.
Okay. And when you say we, that was the.
It was the effort of the executive board, as you stated, but also the chair and also the members that was involved, because he wasn't shy about his actions, and he was pretty brazen, and so we felt, if you want to be this brazen about it, let's show you, exactly. This
But
is
everybody
process.
had input in
It was-
the situation.
Because he was brazen, and everyone
No,
witnessed
I was
this.
addressing him.
Yes.
Everybody had input in it.
Yes.
Well, how big?
I guess what was everybody?
Everybody like
Yeah.
like the whole committee, the whole board, like what do you think?
So it occurred in the ULIF committee.
You look?
That's right. And when it occurred there, and everyone was a witness to this, okay, it didn't take much of us to say, it's time to go, okay? And that was just like that. It was time to go. It was threatening, because it's like he couldn't have his way, and I'm not gonna put any names out, but he couldn't have his way, and it's not about having your way. We have to work collaboratively, right? We have to work together, okay? But he wasn't hearing that, and he got, belligerent. and in a way that he was kind of threatening. And we said, "Oh, we're not doing this. We're not
So
doing
when you
this."
all decided, to remove him, you all had a conversation together with him or without him?
Or is it just clear that?
Or it was just clear?
It was clear. We all looked at each other and said, "Okay."
But it wasn't just one person and.
It wasn't just one
Frank's
person.
ear.
No.
I'm thinking though, in those situations where it's probably not as clear.
Mhm.
I
think
suppose
that's what
it's
you
not
want,
a
yeah.
community board member,
Yeah.
suppose it's just a resident member who's at everybody's meeting to just,
Well, a resident member, anything you're right. We would.
Well, they could be removed too.
Yeah.
really,
I mean, the chair appoints another committee.
That's right.
They're a
The
committee. They're a
resident
committee. They're a
members?
committee. They're a committee rep. They're a committee member. So they can also. That's
so
also
then
one of the
maybe they're
controls.
not a resident member, maybe
If they're
they
just
just
a public
coming,
person,
yeah, okay,
That's
Well,
it.
I'm a
that's,
person that's nothing to do, but I'm talking about when there's resident
Yeah.
established members in the committee
Yeah.
and problems arise.
should anyone be allowed to be removed? I mean, anyone, so what's,
remove
public,
remove how?
resident member,
So
so
with a
do
public
not
person,
come back, you're very disrespectful.
Yeah.
When you learn some manners, we could respectfully
That's
disagree.
that's an option. There are tools about this. Like,
I mean, I don't agree with everything everybody has to say, but it's a way that you present what you have to say.
Yeah.
I know y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
so
there
if
are
the same-
options.
so anyone can be removed.
So
Public,
it depends. It isn't
Okay.
that simple. So like there are options. Like the board can declare a person like unwelcome, like a person on umbrella, and they can from there on not be allowed here. And I mean, that's a enforcement's a different case, but that's an option. Beyond that, there are other options where like if someone's really, let's say, violent to staff somewhere, they can be denied entry from that location. But so there's ways that places can protect themselves and have safety and make sure that people feel safe in there. But we're not sitting ducks. But the options aren't like the problem is enforcement usually.
okay.
That's the issue.
So who
'Cause
would
if it-
enforce?
Huh?
Who would enforce?
Well, we need to go. It's just with the police department. Like we need a
The
good-
police department.
Typically, yeah.
Physically.
We don't really have paid security, so it usually comes with conditions.
Fuck.
Can I say
Wow, y'all.
So,
And this is the youth committee.
right, but
We're trying to reduce the need for police.
so in situations like this where you have, like board members can be removed. People that you appoint on the committee, right, can be removed.
Yeah.
Someone on the outside, they would have to be really physically,
Yeah, they need to be.
okay,
Wow.
for law enforcement to come in. If they're just verbal and they can be obnoxious, the 71st is not doing anything,
Yeah.
okay, because it's freedom of speech,
Mhm.
okay?
Mm.
So that's it right there.
You need to be threatening.
See, like,
And I mean, there have been times where it has gotten to that. Yeah.
But what if it's just
Not this
right?
committee.
What if it's right before
No, that's
you're
all I have
you're
these
interrupting meetings? You're the reason we can't proceed like
Mhm.
those
Yeah.
situations where you're just making it difficult to do what we came here to do.
That is the line.
I think
currently, that's the
that's
balance we're trying to hit right
It's
now.
like how do we say no?
We don't have that answer yet.
Yeah. Okay.
You're right,
If
we
someone-
don't have that answer.
If someone is like really disruptive but not violent,
Yeah.
Right.
that's tough.
That's where it gets kind of like freedom of
Like-
speech, but it's also you're,
Like, yeah, because like
Yeah.
we don't allow that, right?
Yeah.
But the question is, at what point do we eject someone for breaking rules that we have
Exactly.
here? Because the rules matter, right? Like we do have a code of conduct. Like people can say whatever they want, but how you say it still matters. You can't yell everything in front of someone's face. That's not okay, right? You can be removed for that. But regarding what you say, there's no control. You can say whatever you want. That's freedom of speech.
Right.
And when it comes to how you say the problem.
All right.
So, any other improvement ideas? Because the committee was a solid one. Access control, all the things.
So I like that. Felice isn't officially she wasn't officially on the youth committee.
Yes, I was.
Well, she's right now.
No, it was before. Before you got on.
Before I was on.
Felice
that.
right now.
Well, this year.
It's just that I was attending this. I was attending
You sure was.
all
But
over.
that's
Felice, you're on my committee. You're on my
So, but
I'm everywhere because I'm trying to help.
yeah.
You
So
know?
her being on the executive board and she dedicate her time to be able to help, raise needed and everything. Maybe that's also something that should be, spread amongst the other executive board
I really
members
think,
too.
I think members at large should be doing. Members at large don't have any like codified responsibility.
Yeah.
What Police is doing is like precisely a member at large kind of role.
And that's what I was thinking when, I think Nicholas does a pretty good job of making himself very visible and professional. But I do think that should be something that members of logic should be drilled at the beginning of each year, like, hey, please be present, because then when executive members can't necessarily get to other meetings, they can spread the word. You know what I mean? So I think, even you do a great job of just making sure you're kind of everywhere. But it's also, where's everybody else?
Yeah.
So
Well, I do it primarily because of the resources that I have. So I wanna see what I have, can utilize.
But you see what you're saying, a lot of people on this board have resources we can't even imagine, and they're just sitting there like that. So I think also, like I said myself, there's so much more I feel like we need, like we as members should definitely start doing. Because you never know who your neighbor is, so it's very important.
And I brought that up because, from this year compared to the previous year,
To me, it was a difference. Your presence was a difference.
Thank you.
It was an improvement. I felt, I felt better,
Thank you.
about being here with you being here, honestly. And even though we wasn't cooking, I'm like, okay. I was telling Pam all the time, I was like, she was sick today. She heard that, she's like, I was grateful for that. So I just wanted to suggest that maybe that's something that should be enforced by city members at large.
Yeah.
Is there a description of all the positions?
Yeah.
It's in the bylaws.
It's in the bylaws.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can find the bylaws on the website.
No, website, I'll tell you where to find them right now. Just because everyone should know where to find these. They are I think when you go on the site, there's a tab that says resources. And then you go to online resources. Oops, wrong place. My bad. Is it
Ask also
So
if they have a
if-
physical copy.
So it's in About TV9. On the homepage, if you go in About TV9.
But you said CV9 said resources.
No, it's in the About TV9
About-
section.
Yeah.
Click the little drop down and there's the bylaws right there.
Okay.
Yeah, the bylaws is right there. And you read it. So yeah, that's mainly
Is that the bylaws for the board or just the executive board members?
No, the board.
Yeah.
Everything is in there, from executive to the elections to all of the things. Yeah.
They do have a printout.
Oh, they do, okay, great.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, no, I think,
that's required thing.
Okay. So I want to before we wrap up, because we're kind of getting to the tail end of things.
Yeah.
Considering we're not voting on anything right now. So any other improvements? I heard a lot from you, really appreciate that. Any other ideas on improvements, maybe from Melissa, from anybody else? How the committee could run better in the future?
Yeah, Lily has some ideas on what to touch on, but yes, go ahead, I'm sorry, because
I really enjoyed working on job fair, even though I feel like, there were some net negatives with that experience. Came to the point where people were accusing me of things, saying lies about me basically, and disparaging me because I don't know why. But anyway, it was a good event, and I hope that you guys continue to do it. The youth seem to really actually, appreciate. They showed up. It was a winter day. There was snow on the ground, and they showed up. So there really seems to be a need for that particular type of event. And like I said earlier, if we could incorporate our small businesses into it, and even have an angle where we're talking about entrepreneurship too, right? Like, you don't have to always wait for somebody to hand you a job, like maybe you might have some kind of gifts or talents that you can monetize as well too. So make that a part of it. Maybe there's like a mentorship component where maybe we link you up with somebody that can, help you in that journey if you want to become an entrepreneur. So yeah, I still have all of the contacts and information for that, so I'm happy to pass that along to you, Ethan. We have a contact list of maybe about maybe like 200 different organizations that we reached out to for this event. Yeah. So, and there was a nonprofit that also supplied funds for refreshments and beverages and everything like that. So I can share that with you as well too.
Awesome. Nice, okay, that works.
If I may.
Mhm.
I have to say that every single one of you are very valuable. And the reason why you may have your little inserts, that's how I'm gonna say it, yes, is because you have something to offer. Every single one of you, okay? And because of the education, experience, and the know-how that you have, we have to take the time to like share it, okay? Because you're wonderful. You guys, I'm telling you, you're awesome. Okay? You have your power and your strength. You have your power and your strength. Each and every one of you. And I really appreciate you and I want you guys to stay and let's all work together. Okay, I want you to stay and let's all work together because it's going to be a dynamic force. I mean, I really felt good. This year, I said, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best year I know that sounds crazy to say, but this is
Well, I
one
know
of
that's
the
true.
best feelings of we can actually
Do something. Yes. Please.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Please. You know, I have respect and love for all of you. You hear me? Yes? I'm about love.
It's the Brooklyn way. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way.
I don't want to believe it, but like I remember being here in April and people just making accusations at me, and it came out of nowhere.
Okay,
And I'm like, wow. I don't know if it was in April. Not sorry, it wasn't in April because we didn't meet in April. I don't think that was.
My mom was here.
Maybe it was April or February. I don't know.
February.
Anyway, so I like was sick throughout the whole month of January, and I'm trying my best to like pull together what I can for this event, and then I came to the meeting, and it was just like everything that I did wrong was displayed, right? Like everything that, like, you know, like we're not perfect. We're not perfect people. So if I didn't respond to your email or your text message,
Can we start over?
yeah, I would love to start over, but it's gotten to the point where people were making accusations that were just really
We're gonna get rid
wild.
of that. We're gonna throw that out.
They were really
We're gonna throw
wild
it back there.
accusations.
Can we, I'm sorry, excuse me, what's your sign? What's your last name? I study astrology, I'm sorry. What's your sign?
Okay,
May
one
I
second.
ask?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, excuse me. What's your sign?
So we
Yeah, I'm
Before we get into
We're
it.
still on YouTube.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
I'm
still
sorry,
on-
apologize, right,
No,
I'm
it's
going
not.
deep, I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah, so we gotta
sorry.
To your question about mediation, how do you mediate when someone is saying things about you that are like completely false and untrue because they
Well,
just
that's-
don't like you,
well,
and it's like
No,
that's
no,
it.
I mean, so the
At the
thing,
end of
the
the
thing
day.
it's
is
not that
that,
she doesn't like you, or it's just a misunderstanding, that's what I'm trying to say.
well, I mean, this,
This
This is
can I
why
say-
I like, this is why I'm always pointing out the YouTube meetings, the recordings. This is, I don't know how many times I gotta say this. So let's look at the YouTube, meetings, to see the accuracy of what goes on in these meetings.
But I wanna get
Right.
beyond that, I wanna
Cause
get
it's
rid of that.
interesting to me, all of the harm and the pain that went on this year, no accountability is
okay.
But I wanna move forward.
What's that gonna be?
I think we need to
Yeah.
acknowledge Billy's hurt. I think Billy is hurt.
But now you
disgusting to me.
Listen,
Yeah,
When
yeah,
there's no
Yes.
recording,
Stop.
as
One
when
second,
it's
one second.
I was lied on in minutes.
Hold on, one
Yes.
second, yo. One second. All right.
Everybody
I think
else
this
was,
can be
this is why I didn't want to say anything, because everybody else is allowed to say.
Hold on, before,
how
let's.
they
No,
felt.
we wanna hear everybody.
Everyone is allowed to say how they felt, but the minute that I say how I feel, like how, you know, what my experience was, it's a problem.
Give us 2 minutes.
Like,
no.
listening to Felice.
Hold on, before we continue, right? We are gonna adjourn on a good note. Alright, we could always stay here and talk and hash things out, but we are gonna make sure that, you know, this isn't like a sitcom where the TV turns off and like we're in the middle of like a heated discussion, alright? This is gonna be good. We're gonna jump pretty well. We finished the agenda essentially. We're gonna vote in the minutes probably in September. We're gonna clear that up.
Which
Is that
minutes?
okay?
Because there's several of them that needs to be,
January to March, the ones that we're not
okay,
actually
Okay.
approved yet.
okay.
Alright, that's all good?
Yeah,
And
Alright.
April, I believe April too.
Alright, so agenda is completed, we can
Yes.
adjourn.
Thank you.
Feel free to,
Take it off.
Take it off.
And I apologize for the astrology part of it.